All right, guys. So this is the spoiler discussion for Project Power. And I want to say that you've seen our review, and if you didn't see our review, make sure you check out our review. But man, this is a missed opportunity. Like this could have been so much better. My only reason why I liked it so much because the creative aspect of it. I like people to again, I like people's ambition. I like when you come up with something cool and you just say, you know what, maybe we don't have the special effects, maybe we don't have the actors, whatever it is, but let's just do it, right? So you might not nail it, but I give you credit for that. So just being in a world where you could pop, so I kept thinking of the boys, right? So their
Right.
whole world, right? So, but being in a world where your superpowers are only for 5 minutes long, it was cool to see people using their stopwatches, right? Like, I'm gonna pop my pill, put on my stopwatch, and go. Then it was cool to see people say, I don't even know what my power is gonna be, because clearly they showed that some people could die. So some people powers was death.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what is gonna happen. Boom, you blow. The one guy blew up. Like what? So, but yeah, that world was cool, man. I gotta say, it was not directed properly, maybe, but it was pretty cool. The concept.
Yeah, I think you're on point as far as missed opportunity. I feel like
Mhm.
the concept could have been great, and it probably should have been an entirely different movie overall. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
they could have did so many different things. I felt just based off that concept alone, and whoever got the screenplay or wrote it, they might have had. I feel like they had like a couple different drafts, and they didn't know what they wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
Honestly, so it but yeah, the world, the fact that you can take the pill and get the power, and you don't know what the power is going to be, and you don't know if it can kill you. You know, I mean, if you're taking that
Right.
chance, which is crazy. The fact that even the one girl, she became the ice for like 5 minutes, but then she died still or afterwards. So
Well, no,
it's
no,
just
no, no. So what happened to her was really cool. They was too busy fighting and didn't realize. So they put her. So I actually had it wrong. I thought they put her in a thing, and because she got ice, they turned the heat up to show she could sustain it. It was the opposite. They put her in the thing and turned up and made the temperature super low, showing that she could withstand temperature so low. So when her power ran out, they kept fighting and nobody turned the machine off. And so she froze, like really froze. Yeah, that's what happened to her.
oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was that her power like made her die or something like
No,
that.
yeah, they was busy. That's why they again, that angle was weird, but I guess kind of weird but cool.
Yeah,
Jamie
yeah,
Foxx was so you couldn't see what he was doing, but it was focused on her freezing and like so when her power was going away, she was freezing for real because it was like sub below temperature in there. And when he was banging and fighting against the thing, it kept showing even the sides of the container getting cold, and when he banged on it, it shattered. So that had nothing to do with
gotcha.
her powers, yeah. And
Okay,
she
all right.
froze, so she froze to death because of the machine they put her
I
in.
didn't like that either. They were showing her rather than show the fight or whatever like
Yeah,
that.
because they needed to dial in how serious of a fighter he was, right? You
Yeah,
only knew he was in the military, but you felt like earlier on maybe his acting wasn't that good at fighting. And so
right,
then it wasn't believable that he killed everybody, all the
right.
guards by himself. And I don't know if maybe he couldn't act it out properly, so they decided or they couldn't direct it good, so they decided to make that all happen. The most fighting in the whole movie happened with them showing her freezing to death.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
agree. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't like that. Yeah, because I'm trying to peek through the glass, see the fighting, but it's her freezing and stuff like that.
yeah,
So I didn't like that at all. Um, Machine Gun Kelly, he's a white rapper who played the guy who had
right.
the fire power.
Yeah, he paid
Um,
Newt. Newt. No,
Newt,
he
Newt.
yeah, Newt. Yeah.
Yeah, Newt. I um I think he did that well. Even though he had a small sing, I just think he did
Right.
that well. But like I said in the spoiler review video, I was proud of Dominique Fishback, but I'm still proud of her. But the fact that she's 29 years old definitely threw me off for a second and
Right.
whatnot. In class with a school. But you said it before, Courtney B. Vance and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. I felt like it's like I don't know. It's like I felt like I was shortchanged. Like, did they have a good relationship beforehand?
Right.
He fired him, but he still let him stay on. So were they like close?
Yeah,
I feel like
that
there's so much stuff missing on
that
it.
was really bad. So he was so serious. Give me your badge, right? Your badge and
Yeah,
your gun. Yeah, Captain, but we got to do something. No, right? And so then he said, listen, man, if you don't want to do it was supposed to be that speech, I guess, to touch his heart. And I was like, the speech wasn't even that good. And he was like, all right, listen, put the hat, slide the hat. Uh,
yeah,
go to this. You didn't get this from me. I was like, that was so not believable. And I feel like what's his name? The guy I like.
Black Eye?
Yeah.
Or what? Oh, Courtney B. Vance. Courtney.
All right,
Yeah.
so I feel like Courtney is such a good. I've seen him put on so much good emotions before,
Yes.
and he
Yes.
didn't have that scene where he said, "Okay, take the hat." Like he could have nailed that so much better.
Yeah, and then even like the Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, like in that scene before that, he's like a cop with a partner, and then the partner gets shot, and they don't even show the partner again ever or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was
Right.
just like, were you close or not? Like I was so lost with that whole
Yeah.
thing. It was like it
And I'm
was just
trying to
thrown in
remember. I
there.
don't even remember his partner. I was like, wait, you had a partner?
Remember they showed them together, and then another black guy or whatever,
Okay.
and then in the alleyway when Joseph got shot in the head, but it bounced off, then the partner got shot or
Gotcha.
whatever. You know what I mean? So, but you're right. See, you don't even remember the partner because
Right.
like he showed up with somebody, but it's like why even have him show up with somebody if he's not going to have any,
You're right. Yeah.
you know, any consequence in relation to him and stuff like that. So I thought that was weird. Then it was like he was meeting this girl in the alley, buying drugs all the time for her, but now he knows where she lives at the whole time. I'm like, it's a lot.
Well, I think
Like,
they were trying to say he was really close to her, but it didn't seem like he was that close that he would know where she lived at. But he did give her gifts and stuff. I mean, he gave her a whole motorcycle, so obviously they was close. Now, what I'm trying to remember, it said 6 months later. So if the beginning starts, and then it says 6 months later. So does that mean the world had these pills for 6 months, or
yeah, it seemed like the guy gave them the pills to sell, and they just start selling them to a whole, not the world, but to that state. 'Cause
Louisiana?
remember, yeah, 'cause remember, like each state was a trial, I guess.
Right, right,
And in Louisiana, about 6 months, it started to blow up already, where all the
right.
people getting stuff
So
like
yeah,
that.
so we don't know how long they was manufacturing the pills, but from
Nah,
what,
we have
right.
we have no idea, stuff like that. Now, I did think the one, I guess he was blending into everything. I thought that power was pretty cool, actually.
Which one?
The one where the guy was the guy who robbed the bank, and he blended into the wall and stuff like that.
Oh, he was like the chameleon, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I thought that was pretty dope power,
Yeah. See,
but
at first I thought he was just invisible.
yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
But yeah,
But he was running, he was blending in.
right,
But and I think they did do a good job of explaining that you can take the pills back to back with
right,
no problem. Because I would assume that guy who robbed the bank, he was there more than 5 minutes already,
right.
so he
Yeah,
had to take a second pill
yeah.
almost.
Well, some of the directing was bad because some of the stuff it was like, man, I said to Sandy, like that's a long 5 minutes. But
Yeah,
to your point, it was cool how like Machine Gun Kelly in the beginning, he popped like three of. He already ran out of one. That's 5 minutes. So he popped three, which gave him 15 more minutes. However, he OD'd, which means his power
right.
killed him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember that stuff or whatever. And then, like I said, the build up, like they kept teasing and building up the Jamie Foxx power, and I thought the payoff was only okay at the end of the day.
And
Or
then
whatever.
I told Sandy, I said, this is probably, I guarantee it's going to be the most searches for pistol shrimp and Wolverine frog. He was like, yeah, the pistol shrimp is 5,000 degrees hotter than the sun. I was like, wait, what? What? That's not a real thing. What? And when he attacks his prey, and I was like, what? This story? What is he talking about? 5,000 degrees hotter. I rewinded. I was like, wait, what animal did he say?
Yeah,
What the hell is a? And then we looked it up, and it was like, Google was like, oh, pistol shrimp. It emits a certain sound and attacks its prey. We was like, what? Like, I don't understand why he even said that. Like, what the 5,000
yeah.
degrees warm hotter than the sun, and I
I
don't know.
guess to show that when he was burning the bullets and stuff like that and all that stuff later on in the movie and stuff like that. But
Right.
it didn't make it seem like if he used the power it would kill him either. So I don't know why.
Yeah. So here's the thing. He said earlier he used his power and people got hurt, so he chose not to use it again. Right. So
Right.
why'd you, if you died now, I don't get it because you used it before. So why are you dying now? So I guess are we supposed to think maybe his daughter healed him back then also?
I guess, but they didn't really say that stuff.
Right.
And like, I get it's a movie, man, but like, he could have took the pill and walked outside. Like, he went outside, made this big speech, and then took the pill.
And
Swallowed it. Or whatever.
here's my issue. He takes the pill and his power is so devastating. Everyone dies but his daughter. Like, really? He
Yes,
was able to
yes,
control, like, he went whoosh, and then the flame hit the person next to his daughter. Like, she didn't get hurt at all. She didn't get
right,
singed. Her leg didn't get burned. Like, really? Like, those
yeah,
big containers got burnt up and flipped off the boat. Like, and she
yeah.
didn't get burnt at all. Like,
Yeah, that's I didn't like either. And like I said earlier, the whole Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jamie Foxx, their stories, man, they were like so separate at
yeah,
first, and I felt like they could have been more intertwined. And going back to the captain thing, it's like they should have had him come back at some point in the movie, because if he was a dirty captain or whatever,
right.
they never paid that off. Like,
At
you know,
at all. They never circled back to it. It's like, and then at the end it was like the happy ending. So you left so much and so what happened with the dirty officer? Or
right,
so what
right.
happened?
Yeah,
Like,
like nobody knows and whatnot. It's crazy. So
yeah.
I don't get it. And then of course she goes back to the truck that Jamie left. First of all, where did he get all this money? That's number one. That was already in his trunk, I guess, and whatnot. And then secondly, it's like so Eric. So this whole a giant monster burnt up in this building. Everybody's outside, but this truck is just left there. Nobody sees you. Go take this money. I'm like, come on, man. This is a lot to be.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then I feel like the believability, like some of the characters, like they didn't make you like let's go into your point in the review. Guys, make sure you check out our review. But who was the bad guy? Who was the main bad guy? Like you
Who?
was led to so here it is. It was Jamie really wanted to get the dude with the thick beard. All right.
Yeah.
We was led in the beginning, the guy who talked Machine Gun Kelly was the dude with the accent, right? But then they showed the chick who was the chick who was like working with him, but then it was the chick who landed on the plane that wanted to
Right.
buy the stuff. Like, who's the bad guy?
Right, it's confusing me, and none of them had you feeling like any feelings toward them. They didn't like.
Correct.
You don't know their names. I don't know any of their names, honestly. So I'm like so confused about them. Like
Yeah.
it's just I don't really like just generic bad guys and
Yeah.
whatnot. You
And
know what I
Jamie
mean?
wanted to get the guy that took his daughter so bad. And I feel like when he finally killed him, it was him that killed him, right? Somebody shot him with the shotgun. He had a big hole in his chest.
Yeah, I think Jamie shot him, but after Joseph Gordon threw the gun to him and stuff like that.
All right, yeah. So I feel like it wasn't even it wasn't that good. Like it needed to have a better like, you took my daughter, and then it was like he was just a henchman anyway. So it wasn't even like he just cared about getting his daughter back and finding him. But the dude was a henchman.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't even care about the main guy. He just cared about the henchman. So you don't even care like, okay, so then you was just gonna let the main bad guy leave? All you wanted was your daughter?
Right.
What about the
Bro.
other people? So like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I started like going on Instagram, watching this movie, like it just didn't keep my attention like no movies
Okay.
normally would. And like I said, that really did make me miss going to the theater, watching movies and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
because most time we put about in the theater, and they got bad movies too, but
Right.
Netflix is like notorious for like
Right.
they have like 2 or 3 great ones and like 45 bad ones.
No, yeah, I
okay
agree.
ones,
I
or
agree.
whatever.
Now, I'll
Like,
make it clear. I'm not saying this is one of the bad ones. This ain't like the bottom bad ones that you're just like,
no,
oh my God. Like, but this wasn't great. And I think for us, we've seen a couple great ones, like,
yes,
The Last Guard or The Old Guard.
Ogre, yeah. Extraction was good.
Extraction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and even Spencer Confidential was
Was
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
So,
Yeah, it's better than this. I'll tell you that.
yeah,
So.
definitely better than this. But I would you guys still if you guys still got to see it though. It wasn't that bad. I know we sound like we're bashing
No,
it.
no, it wasn't like the last Fatal Affair. That was bad. That was
Oh man,
horrible.
yeah, you could have skipped on that one. Yeah, you
It
could have skipped on that one.
wasn't
Yeah,
like that. This was like a notch above that, though. I would say.
yeah.
So.
This, you know what it was? The cool thing about this had enough things to be good enough to watch and recommend. That's the
Yeah,
thing. Like it was like I want to say, you know what, is good enough because the concept for me is still what get me. Like
right.
I don't recall ever hearing that concept. Putting a time limit on your superpowers by just taking a pill. And
Now, if it's supposed to be based off of the animals, the one who turned into like Abomination, the big dude,
right,
basically, what was his animal supposed to be? I was confused by that. So,
I don't know. I almost feel like he just mutated or something.
okay.
And you know what's funny? At first they didn't do a good. At first they didn't make. So here's again the two scripts. At first it had nothing to do with animals at all.
No,
Half the
none.
movie it had nothing to do with animals, and then when he was on the ship with the container, they start going to this whole thing with animals. I was like, oh really? Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was you know, it was an animal power thing. Okay, fair
Right,
enough.
right.
Yeah,
Which is interesting, I guess. But like you said, Wolverine frogs. I'm like, wait, what? It's crazy too. So
yeah. And when they showed it, I was like, is that a real thing? Like, really? So he breaks his. So you have two bones, right? And then he breaks it so a point sticks out, and he used that to
but
kill
that's not
other.
even a great power. Like if you like that dude who did it, he already knew karate, right? He was already
Right,
like a mercenary, so it's dope with that. But if it's a regular guy, that's not even a great power. It's just like
right.
now I got a
He'd be
extra,
like, ah, this hurts. What the hell do I do
yeah,
with this?
I
Hey,
got
baby,
extra,
you need me to open some cans?
right? Like what am I gonna do with that? You know what I mean? So that's a weird one to me to have. You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
I can't, I wouldn't even want to fight with that. I'd be like, well, I don't know. I
yeah.
might want to fight regular. You know?
I think
So
what's cool though is that they listen. I give them credit for coming up with these different powers. So you know, they had a bunch of powers in the movie, so that was cool. At least it wasn't
yeah,
like, oh yeah, they had one or two powers in this movie. There was a
yeah.
bunch of powers, so that was cool. Even Joseph Gordon power, where he turned pretty much kind of like Colossus. He was like hard, right? So like when he got shot point blank, pretty much the bullet bent up on his face and fell. That's pretty cool. Even that scene was a little confusing. I was like, wait, did he use it? Did he not use it? Like Sandy was like, no, no, think about it. The time ran out. He had like 15 seconds left. I was like, oh, so wait, you time it, you take the pill, time it, then he shot him. And I feel like they shot it off. So I was like, wait, did all the time run
Cinematography,
out?
yeah,
Like I
definitely the
said, it was some
shooting was
long
dope.
5 minutes, man.
Yeah. So some of the shooting angles were really, really bad. Like we talked
Yeah.
about with that fight, you know, in this movie and stuff like that. But like you said, I think it boils down to it. Great concept, but missed opportunity. I feel
Yes,
like. I mean,
definitely.
for it to go from okay to great, I feel like. So
Yeah, definitely.
but
Well,
in my
I
last
don't.
video, we said that we would I said I wouldn't take it. You said you would.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, yeah. So let's get into that. Well, tell me why wouldn't you take it?
um only because of well, one thing. Two, I don't know what my power is going to be, so I wouldn't want to be a Wolverine frog, like I've said before. That's trash. But secondly, um, you could die. You know what I mean? And is it worth it for that 5 minutes of the power to know that you can actually blow up and just die? And then what am I using it for? Like if I'm just, I want to see what it's like for 5 minutes for a cool power. It's not worth me to die. Now, if I was going to like say I need to rob a bank or whatever, and I need to do this, need this money, maybe I might take the chance then.
Right.
But even then, with the concept of actually being able to die by taking it
Right.
for only 5 minutes, it makes it change it for me. Now, if it's like take the pill and keep the power, or you know, or possibly die, then that changes the scenario. But in
Right.
this scenario, I wouldn't work. It's not worth it. What about for you?
So, you know what's cool is I didn't look at it that way. I thought, oh man, it's only 5 minutes. But then you're like, dude, for 5 minutes, you could possibly die. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. However, I will say this. Yes, you could die, but remember, people could, I mean, what they didn't do well is make it like people was junkies for it. Cause you would think like, cause what you're leaving out is, yes, 5 minutes, but once you find your power, that's always your power, right?
Yes,
So I could
yes,
just buy a bunch of pills. Like she was selling the pills for what, $500, right?
yeah.
So
They weren't cheap.
I could buy a bunch of pills, right? And use it. So if my power was so for me, it'd be worth it because yeah, I might die, right? But if I find out what my power is, it's only for 5 minutes, right? But if it's cool enough, then I'll buy a truckload of this stuff. I won't use it over and over. Like I won't try to OD. But there might be moments where I'd be like, dude, like let's say I could fly. Yo, every so often I'm a fly. Let's say I could swim underwater. You know, oh, we went to the beach. So if I found, you know, so I would risk it. You know, in a world like that, I would risk it. And then if it was
Okay.
cool power, I'll load up on them. You know, if it was a bad power, then I would never take it again. And then if I off chance that I died, well, I was at least trying to see what my superpower was. So,
Got you. Okay. Yeah, for me, I just like I said, man, I don't know, man. I just don't think they're worth the risk. And I don't think even like only some of them are cool. Like you said, they're not all the greatest powers. So
true.
that's that first time. Now, like you said, if you do get it, now you know you won't die, and you can take them over and over again,
Right.
unless you know overdose like Newt did or
Right.
whatever, Newt or whatever. But yeah, just not that first time was not worth it, bro. So,
Well, can we get on the fact that I'm not trying to be funny, but you know, the chick was black. Her mom was black, and Newt was a white dude, and that was supposed to be her cousin.
Yeah, nobody saying. You know what's funny? Jamie didn't even ask about that. It's like
At all,
nobody.
yeah. I said
Yeah,
that, yeah, I was saying to Sandy, I was like, that's supposed to be his cousin. And they was like deep cousins, like, oh, my
yeah,
cousin, you killed my cousin. I was just thinking like, so was her dad supposed to be white or something? Because she just looked black. So not that I needed to know, but I kind of felt like if you're gonna write in the black guy or the black girl cousin is this white dude, then I kind of would have wanted to see the mixed family or something somewhere. Like that was just like that was so random.
yeah. Or have them more interact something like it was that was weird and
Yeah,
whatnot.
that
So
was
I
really
think
weird.
yeah. I wasn't feeling that
And I
at
felt
all.
like it even was weird, like her character, she was kind of like a good kid, but at the
Yeah,
same time, she was like die hard with like I feel like the writing for her character was a little off, you
she
know?
wasn't a believable drug dealer at all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not at all. Um, because then she was so scared all the time too. So I was like, she
yeah.
wasn't a believable drug dealer,
I
you know.
think the best acting was when Jamie Foxx said, which is cool, and I actually I love that he said this because I want to tell people this. Like she was like, "I'm just a kid." He was like, "Yo, you can't use as just a kid. The moment you started selling the power, you lost the rights of being a kid. Like,
Yeah,
and that's so cool. Kids feel like, oh, I'm just a kid. Like, no, you're doing adult things, but you're supposed to be a kid, and you know what you was doing. That was like the
right.
best acting for me. Like he really dialed in to his
Yeah.
acting at that
Jamie did
scene.
his thing. And nothing about Jamie I thought was bad. I wish they would have gave Jamie some better material or
Right.
whatever. I don't blame Jamie at all for my thoughts on
Yeah.
that. But that's it. You know, we got a
Yeah.
regular review, stuff
Hold on,
like
hold on.
that.
One
Yep.
other thing I want to mention. Oh yeah, and what did you think? One last thing we didn't touch on, because this is a spoiler discussion. Her the whole rapping thing. What did you think about that? Because there was a lot of rapping, and you know, that was like her whole like, you know,
Forgot
she's
about
seen in
that.
the classroom, her rapping. What do you got to say about the rapping?
Uh
Like, did it have a
first of
place in
all,
the movie?
no, I felt like it wasn't necessary. And then the one in the classroom, it was like, why make it a dream? Why not make it a real or whatever?
Correct.
You know what I mean? I was like,
Like it's like
what's
this movie is already far fetched. So why try to make that more realistic that she was daydreaming it? She ended up walking to the office anyway. You could either give me your phone or go to the office. She slammed the book, walked to the office. So I would rather you just rap for real and then walk to the office,
right?
right?
Like I'm like, why was it a dream? I don't understand that
Yeah,
and
because
whatnot.
since it was a dream, then you might as well have just handed them your phone or something, or you know, like it was like two conflicting
And
personalities.
then it was like in the dream, they were showing somebody in the classroom recording it. So I thought it was about to go on my YouTube and she was going to off or something like that. But it was a dream. So I'm like,
Right,
why have somebody recording in the dream? And it makes no sense
right.
to me. Like
Yeah,
why show me that? I don't understand that. Like it's like weird and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
Now, not for nothing, she wasn't that bad of an MC, you
she
know.
wasn't that bad at the classroom. In the vet's office, she was trash.
Right. Well,
But
she didn't have a beat.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. That's true. But no, she wasn't that bad. She wasn't that
yeah.
bad. I'll give it. I don't think we needed it. Like I said, I'm. You know what? By the time we got to the end, because he was chasing his daughter, but then it's almost like she became his surrogate daughter throughout, and then the real daughter came, but then it was like she didn't have that much, that many lines in the movie or nothing like that. It was just.
Yeah.
I was just like,
You didn't even care about her that much. Best
no,
best thing she did was at the end heal him. Like like it was she was just so
right.
like
They could have
underwhelming that
just made a they could have built the relationship, kept building it with him and Robin, and then had them kidnap Robin and him save her. They didn't need the real daughter anymore,
they didn't at all. That was
right?
great. Yeah.
At this point. So I think that was a waste or whatever. It's almost like you had two daughters in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For no reason and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I didn't feel that. And then it was like, well, was Joseph again? Two different stories. Was Joseph her surrogate father, or was Jamie Foxx her surrogate
Right.
father? I was like, you know what I mean? It was crazy with that whole
Yeah, and it's just so sad that I didn't care about the daughter. Like when Jamie like abruptly was like, "All right, got my daughter, I'm out." I felt bad for Robin. Like, "Oh man, he's leaving now." But I had no. If he would have just said, "You know what? The ship's sinking. I could save Robin or save my daughter and save Robin, I was like, yeah, even though I'd have been
Right.
messed up. But
That's what I'm
you
saying.
felt more for that relationship.
You did. You know what I'm saying? Even when he left at the end, it was like I was going to say like, well, we'll come back and visit, or you know, this or so. I don't know. It's weird. So I think that it's like when you have him and Robin, either keep that the story or not. We don't need his daughter in the story.
Right.
He could have just been a guy trying to stop these pills because it's killing people. They didn't need the fact that they kidnapped his daughter. They like added too much for no reason.
Yeah, it was all over the place, you know. And I think they try to make it deep because the daughter's how we're getting the powers. We're getting it from her. She was the one person that had powers passed down through him because they did tests on him when he was in the military, and then he got his wife pregnant or whoever pregnant. Then he had a baby, and her powers never went away. Then it's like, well, how they even know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, we already rated it. I went with
Yeah. Whoa, whoa,
one.
whoa, whoa. So, guys, we would tell you our ratings, but you have to watch the review in order to see what we actually rated the movie.
Sounds good. All right. Make sure you watch that on this video, like, comment, and subscribe, of course.
All right, guys. Take care.